This is Art History 1 with John Carstens. Hi, I'm Yudi.
And I'm Jasmine, and welcome to Judy's Corner. The first work of art we will be looking at is a Greek piece known as The Little Girl with Birds. During the 5th and 4th centuries, a lot of Greek graves were decorated with reliefs such as these to represent the deceased. The stela, dated about 450 to 440 BCE, made by Fletcher Fund. This grave marker was found on the Aegean island of Paros, where fine white Parian marble was plentiful. Individual panels, or stelae, decorated in relief were extremely popular among the Greeks for memorials, votive offerings, and tomb monuments. The sculpture may be familiar with the stylistic developments in Athens because of the realistic treatment of the little girl's body with her idealized facial features. Since many of the skillful stone carvers came from the island, it is possible that the sculptor of this stele could have been among the artists who congregated in Athens during the 3rd quarter of the 5th century BC to decorate the Parthenon.
So, Jasmine, what exactly is going on here with the young girl and the birds?
Well, in this relief, you can see as the little girl seems to be greeting her pet doves in a gentle way, and her peplos is unbelted and falls to the side, which reveals her stance. The features of this girl would suggest that she seems to be a bit older. Her body is smaller, like a child's, and her head is larger, suggesting that she is in fact older, which correlates with the serene and idealized maiden that is depicted in low relief at the head of the procession on the Parthenon frieze. The little girl is dressed like a miniature adult. She was wearing the same type of peplos or attire her mother would wear.
So looking at the artwork, I also noticed that it looks like a piece is missing. Is this the actual complete artwork?
Almost. The top is missing, but it probably has a decorative finial, or in other words, a crowning ornament. There are some traces of pigment, which suggest that the work of art may have been enhanced with painted details. And this little girl with the birds comes from the classical period.
Up next, we'll be looking at a work called Demeter, Persephone, and Tripomos.
So, what is this piece exactly made from?
This work is actually made from individual panels, known as stelae.
Wow, this work is also a stela? That sounds too familiar.
Yes, just like the previous work we talked about, the stelae sculpture was affected by the same general trends as figural sculpture, but it also frequently showed more compositional variety and freedom. A relief panel depicting Demeter, Persephone, and Triptomos, dating about 440 BCE, was found in the ruins of the sanctuary of Demeter and Persephone at Owlation, near Athens. The sanctuary was said to be located on the very spot where Persephone was picking flowers when Hades kidnapped her and took her to the underworld. Descending to the underworld, Hermes delivered the unwelcome message to the king of the dead, whom he found with his unwilling flame sitting beside him. Concealing his feelings, Hades expressed his acceptance to Zeus' command and told Persephone she could go home to her mother. Secretly, however, Hades forced her to swallow a few pomegranate seeds, which is the only food she had taken in his house. The king of Eloise extended his hospitality to Persephone's grieving mother, Demeter, who was the goddess of grain, as she searched for her lost daughter. In return for this kindness, Demeter gave his people the gift of grain and instructed them in farming. This stele here shows Demeter on the left and Persephone on the right. Triptomos is the young boy youth standing in the middle of the two larger figures. He is occasionally identified as Demeter's son, but more often as a pupil chosen by the goddess to help spread the knowledge of agriculture among the Greeks. The subject of the relief seems to be the initiation of the boy by Demeter, who holds up a sheaf of grain and presents him with what appears to be a bag of seeds, while Persephone places her hand over his head in a blessing. The robust, heavily draped bodies of the women bear resemblance to the Phidian treatment of women on the Parthenon, whereas their young initiate brings to mind the earlier Critios boy, whom is the artwork we studied earlier in class. The sculpture has rendered the figures freely and naturally, rather than according to the strict canon. This conveys not only the narrative elements of this symbolic event, but also a sense of the warm maternal relationships present.